hello there from Knott's Berry Farm. We're actually across the street at Independence Hall just to start this, so we have kind of a quieter area to start things though. But we just made our way from Midsummer Scream, just wrapped up the show less than an hour ago. The show closed here on Sunday. Knott's Scary Farm was there at a panel. They were on the floor, I'm sure you know that, but this always kicks off like our Halloween build updates. It's like our Halloween season is always right after Midsummer Scream because there's announcements and things like that. We know in terms of Knott's, there's been building going on, so we'll start showing you some of those things as we find them. Park decor is always like our favorite thing as we get to that stage of things, so you can follow along with us for those sorts of updates. Today, interestingly, because we have things from the panel, like now we know officially the Haunt Legacy Store Museum is coming into the Emporium over there in the marketplace, so we'll take a look at that. We know the announcement event's coming. And that Ghost Town is going to be a part of that. So August 24th, unlike any past announcement events, I mean, there is a $20 fee to go, but also they're making it more of an experience. So be in Ghost Town, there will be monsters, costumes on display, access to the Legacy Store, etc. So some interesting tidbits that will kind of blend into this as we're looking around the park. And so with that being said, let's head over to the marketplace and just take a look at what's probably just going to be some blacked out windows right now, but let's take a look at the Emporium where you are going to find that Haunt Legacy Store and Museum. All right, so in the marketplace, the Emporium's across the way there. You see the windows are blacked out. Just in case anybody is not that familiar with Knott's that maybe is interested in Scary Farm, we're kind of starting out here to give a little more context of just its location here, not too far from the marketplace parking lot, across the street from TGIF and all of that. But this location then is going to host the Haunt Legacy Store and Museum. The thing that really stood out to me in terms of experiences is it reminds me of the Funko Hollywood store in terms of just like, if you've ever been to that store, Funko, it's all about like experiences of photo ops. And then there's also a ton of stuff to buy there, but you can wander around there and go into different neighborhoods. And that is exactly what they showed in terms of concept art. Is have a rotunda in the middle that acts as kind of a hub, and then from out of that sprouts the different neighborhoods that celebrate Knott's Scary Farm history. There'll be a museum, and then of course there will be lots of merch and fun things to buy there. So we'll be keeping an eye on that. It is supposed to be included as part of the August 24th preview event, announcement event. It'll be interesting to see how they get everybody into that event because it seems like a lot of people to get in the store. And with photo ops, we'd imagine it's going to be kind of a slow go in there, but that is supposed to be part of the plan for those buying tickets for that announcement event. The announcement event tickets go on sale Monday morning coming up here. So maybe some people are watching this that already have passed, and guessing if you're interested, you got tickets. But definitely one of the selling points of it is checking out the Legacy Store. All right, and to note on the store, one of the really cool things, I think, for those that are local to the area is to be able to check it out in the daytime. So in the daytime, it'll be open out this way for fans to come in, check it out, all of that. But at nighttime during Scary Farm, the access point will be on the back side. So you'll be queuing up in the back there over by Waxworks or somewhere of that nature. So an interesting idea of how to kind of have this tribute store. And over here at the depths, we can see progress continues. It's always neat just to see the Mariner out there, the shark hanging, just some of the work going on there. Nothing new, but fun to see. Gives us a little bit of that decor, a little sneak peek. All right, and not specifically Scary Farm, but they have started getting out some of the autumn stuff with the pumpkins. And how can we do a video about Scary Farm and not throw a couple pumpkins in from the bakery and marketplace area if we can see them, right? So at the entrance, nothing Halloween up yet, nothing Scary Farm yet, but just did want to note, if you didn't catch the live stream we did or just where else on social media, they do have 50th anniversary decor coming to the front gates here. So we, as well as thousands of others, will be anxiously awaiting checking those out in the very near future. And here at the front of the park, again, we're not going to see anything quite yet, but it was shown concept art of a new entry statement celebrating the history of Knott's Scary Farm. Looked fantastic. Didn't ever think you'd want to see the three big skeletons up there leaving, but this definitely seems like a good trade-off. So lots been made of kind of the construction walls that have gone up in Camp Snoopy. So airmail here, it's on the list of attractions to come back that are just down, so we will figure that is just some routine maintenance. That said, in the back, Timberliner and the bus over there, those are just like gone, and they're not on any list to come back. So we think that's part of a whole different project, not related to Scary Farm. So until we get something otherwise, we'll leave those alone. That's it over here. This build's been going on for quite a while again. One of the first ones we noticed in the last several months there. It's interesting, there seems to be kind of almost a second story looking type of window area to it. I mean, just a much higher walls there. With all their builds, they've been, I think, a lot better than normal in terms of kind of keeping things under wraps here, in terms of just like blocking off easy viewpoints. I mean, some of them are just tougher, like we can see over here, but doing a good job of trying to keep things secret, at least until August 24th, when we can all be excited at the announcement event together. But definitely lots of lumber going in, lots of work. I feel like every time we come out here, we see new things just in terms of this side of it. All right, stopping off in Fiesta real quick, because the little trailer that they put out for Scary Farm's announcement event said there'd be 5 scare zones. So that sounds like no new scare zone coming to Fiesta. On the other hand, though, they said 4 new shows, or I should say 4 shows, with no Birdcage. We've got the main stage, the Calico stage, Mine stage, and of course the Walter Knott Theater we would expect to be utilized. That would seem to leave maybe Fiesta as the other spot there. So we'll be keeping an eye on that if that's one of those announcements coming to some entertainment over here. Besides that, it sounds like this section of the park is going to be mostly kept just for rides and kind of enjoying the new version of Fiesta Village for this year at least. So it did seem that we're going to get the hanging back. There was mention of it. They said it seems like a good time to bring the hanging back at the Midsummer Scream, Not Scary Farm panel. So it sounds like we can count on the hanging coming back. We'll obviously be keeping an eye out for the stage work and stuff after the Ghost Town Live season ends here, and Not Summer Nights and all of that. But that does seem to be one of our shows that will be returning. Really curious to see how they kind of reimagine it now for a new era. So we'll see more to come on that. Also to know, when we talk about the announcement event, there's nothing on the website at Knott's Berry Farms, Knotts.com, that says the Walter Knott Theater will be in play. In fact, everything really seems to say that the announcement event is going to take place in Ghost Town, and so it's something to note there. Like, everything's about Ghost Town there. So will this be the stage for those announcements? Do they have it laid out in some other way? I think everything about the old announcements events, for myself at least, I need to kind of put to rest, because this is a new era, it's a new event, and I just kind of have to like scrap what was and think about what's new, and just kind of accept that night and be excited for what's new, because it does sound really fun in terms of its immersiveness. And we'll talk more about that when we hit the Ghost Town Street in just a minute here. All right, before we get to Ghost Town, though, we are going to stop by the arcade and look at the latest there. It's been neat watching this build kind of come together, the way they're kind of concealing it from the public. They're being able to keep the arcade fully open while they're doing all this. I would imagine there may come a point in time here as we get to the slower season in between summer and Scary Farm that maybe we'll see the arcade close so they can work more freely out in the open. But ultimately, they've really done a good job of kind of putting in this false wall that kind of houses everything behind it, and you really can't see a whole lot of the construction. But that said, let's show you what it looks like as of now. All right. And then you can see that wall there, looking around the back. All right, we're over here at the entrance of Calico River Rapids, and another big talking point during the panel was these interactive RFID lanterns that if you've been to Knott's Merry Farm, they've had small lanterns that are like go with the snow and glow and all of that, and it seemed like, okay, this is going to be part of Scary Farm at some point. Well, now these are larger lanterns. You're going to be able to carry them through scare zones, into mazes, all those things, and they're going to have RFID technology to have little sensor points to flicker or do different things with it. Now, one of the things they talked about, though, was that it would have various, I believe they said 5 specific spots where there would be different, like, character-type interactions. And the one piece of concept art they showed was here in the water outside of Mystery Lodge, and that the big spider, which longtime Scary Farm fans will be very familiar with big spiders, will be one of those points of emphasis, and that this whole kind of area is going to just generally be themed out. And one of the most exciting things to me about all of this is, as much as I love the idea of the lanterns and interactive stuff and things like that, is this is just kind of a section of the park that is like a very, very rare small strip of land that really hasn't had much theming when it comes to Knott's Scary Farm. The park decor team at Knott's Scary Farm goes all out. That just blows me away every year, and I love it. And we just always have accepted this area is just kind of not part of that decor as much. I mean, they've started adding jack-o'-lanterns in the last few years here and stuff like that. But just in general, this strip of land hasn't been a scare zone for a long time, hasn't had actors or any of that. And so the idea that we're going to have this moment over here, or this interactive possibility, is really exciting to me. And who knows what that'll hold for the future. It's a park already that's totally taken over for Scary Farm in so many ways, and had a tiny little sliver of land that maybe wasn't that, and now it sounds like it may be that. All right, we're making a quick detour over here to the Wilderness Dance Hall and Origins, where the build has been going for a while here. They've had it blacked out windows, and of course we can see the walls up there. And the Witch's Cavern moved in, and everything is full speed ahead. Over here, we've even got the projector spot up and ready to go. So it looks like things are coming together quite well here at the Origins spot, the little we can see at least. All right, Boot Hill Cemetery. Nothing was announced for over here, but it's a Scary Farm kickoff build video. How can we not show you some tombstones, take you to Boot Hill real quick? So again, not a lot. Although one thing I will say is that with the announcement event, it does seem like we're going to be able to move all around Ghost Town. Will we see any characters over in this area? Might there be a photo op? You know, they're not going to be needing it for queuing area for Origins at that point. Seems like a great spot to do something there for that event. All right, if we're talking Scary Farm, we got to go by the Ghost Town Toy Junction or the Magic Shop and just take a look at the current stock, which we imagine is pretty stale at this point. It always is this time of year, but still, let's take a quick look. All right, here's a look at the current stock there. Pins. I've not seen this. I thought this was maybe the 50th anniversary cockroach pin. It seems to be 2022, so I'm not a pin collector or a cockroach collector, so maybe someone else out there can throw it in the comments if they know more about that one. These are currently buy a mug, get a shot glass free. Always love that Halloween haunt banner up there. Got some hats, a few t-shirts, canvases, lots of cockroaches, bags. Still got some Paranormal Inc. stuff not on sale. Great attraction to celebrate. And then a few posters still in stock. Most of them are the newer stuff. Waxworks. I don't think they have any of the retro ones in right now. Let's see. Oh yeah, there we go. Do have those at 84, I think, something like that. But they are currently buy two, get one free. All right, so right outside the Magic Shop there, coming to the announcement event, they did talk about Town Hall is going to feature all sorts of costumes on display and costume designers, wardrobe there. So that is one of those kind of new things for the announcement event that we have not had before. They also talked about the Birdcage Theater. They're very specific, saying Birdcage Theater, and they're very specific, not saying anything about the Walter Knott Theater. So that kind of, again, tells us what part of the park we're going to be in for everything. But Birdcage Theater is going to be playing host to 50th anniversary presentations. So we'll see what that ends up being. Is it going to be multiple times a night or one of them? Again, so much of my curiosity about the announcement is just capacity, because I don't know how many they're expecting, if it's 500, 1,000, 2,000. But a lot of these things seem very low capacity in terms of access, like the Town Hall, like Birdcage Theater, like the Legacy Store. So that's kind of my biggest question. As excited as I am about the event, I'm just curious how they're going to move people around to these various interactions. And because people will be paying money, I think they'll have like higher expectations of just kind of what does happen. So how can we not take a look at this guy if we're talking Scary Farm? Again, one of the things I love about Scary Farm is you get Halloween, about Knott's, is you have a little bit of Halloween here all year long. So this entire area is supposed to be open. Actors are going to be out, so there's going to be monsters. I'm sure we're going to see some favorites there. They also mentioned during the panel to expect a surprise of something that hasn't been here in a long time that'll be back, which has, I think, all of us Scary Farm fans very curious. What should we be keeping an eye out for? Excited to find out. Love these mysteries. Love this time of year where we're trying to put together these puzzles and think of what's going to go into these places that we love so much. All right, if we're over here at the Calico Gazette, we can also find a little bit of Halloween all the time here if we look in the window. There we go. Strange Fog linked to Sarah Marshall? Question mark? I think it's very possible it is linked to Sarah Marshall. Love that. You can see the Green Witch there, maybe vaguely in this, but another little piece of Scary Farm that's here all the time. Not a new build update, but just we want to throw in a little of that because soon enough we'll have all sorts of skeletons and pumpkins to share, but for now let's just have a little bit of that flavor. One of the interesting things also with this new announcement event version is we do have some props that are out just for Ghost Town Alive, and Ghost Town Alive will be continuing after the announcement event, so it still has another, what, 2 weeks or something like that. But you have things like the jail here, and it's like, are they going to use that, or are they just going to move it off set? I'm just kind of curious to see how some of these things play in. But the idea of having Fog Alley at this time of year at an announcement event is like so exciting. So we were just loving having, like, you know, a couple gargoyles out over at the Walter Knott Theater. So the fact that we're going to get this area of the park with actors out, can't wait. Mrs. Murphy's Farm Fresh Meals is going to be the new spot coming in here to take over for Spurs. Spurs is something we associate really with Scary Farm. It is the site of so many pre-scare dinners or buffets over the years. So we're excited for whatever comes here, but for the most part, our curiosity is how will it play into Scary Farm? Will we still be eating over here? Are they going to push everybody outside the park? We love being in Spurs for the dinners. We will get to see. Our first pre-scare dinner actually is going to be on the second night of Scary Farm this year. That was September 22nd. We're doing our Parks and Cons crew night again. We did our first Scary Farm night last year with some of our Patreon supporters. It was a blast. We're coming back again this year and excited for that. If you are a Patreon supporter, make sure to check the Mighty Networks feed to see how you can sign up for that event to join us. If you're not and you're interested, obviously you can find us over there as well. All right, we're going to wrap up this video. Again, we're going to be coming back periodically throughout this March into the haunt season. We'll also be out at horror nights, and we even keep an eye out at Disneyland for some of the Halloween merch coming in and all of those things. If you're interested in Halloween content, follow along with us because we'll have a lot of it. We'll even include some YouTube lives as we get closer to the season, and there's more to see as we get all the webs and the jack-o'-lanterns and the skeletons and all of that. So please join us if you like that kind of stuff. We'll be your Halloween fix in the parks as we march to those opening dates coming up now in just a few weeks, really. So that being said, we're going to wrap up for this one. Thanks for tuning in. Until next time, we'll see you online somewhere.